Hello and welcome to the podcast. Sean Hegarty Podcasts on your local podcast provider app. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. I just wanted to start this podcast by chatting to you all about what's been going on recently in the news and the press and the media. I'll just say, hang in there. Brighter days are ahead. They're just around the corner. The vaccine it's being rolled out like a fucking ice cream truck round the streets. We're almost there now. We're on the home straight. The darker days are behind us. You know they are. Stop crying, Jocelyn. They are, love. They're behind us now. Come on with yourself. The COVID soon will be a thing of the past. And we'll all be out in the pubs and the bars and the clubs, getting absolutely locked. We will, Barbara. You're bright. Barbara, you're ruining the podcast. Stop crying, love. Come on. We're almost there, love. We're going to get the little jab in our arms. And then we're going to go dancing around the street, hugging each other, kissing each other, giving each other love bites. Oh, I tell you, it's going to be great, Barbara. We're going to be coughing in each other's faces. Look, Barbara doesn't believe us. We are, Barbara. We're going to be coughing in each other's faces. We're going to be licking each other up the armpits, up the back of the neck. It's going to be great. And Jarlath's going to come out. And Jarlath's going to be like, lads, I can taste again. Gives an old fish and chip there, Jerry. I can taste again. The brighter days are in front of us, guys. We just gotta hang on in there. They're coming. I didn't realise, but this instrumental is about fucking 5 minutes long. I thought it would have been over by now. I honestly didn't really have anything prepared before I started all this shite, but it's episode 2 of the podcast, even though it's the third one he's recorded in a week. Who does that? Who calls it episode 2 when he's recorded 3 already? Whoever decided to call it episode 1.5 is a fucking idiot, and I'm sure it's himself. It is. He's disgusted with himself. Fuck it, let's stop it early. It's the Sean Hegarty Podcast, the Comedy Cabin. Welcome. Let's do this. Here we go. Yes, so welcome along. It is episode 3, episode 2, whatever you want to call it. It's still the podcast. It's the Comedy Cabin. Obviously, I'm coming to you in the Comedy Cabin. And you know what? I just thought for a change here, why not just do a live episode? Why not do it? Why not give the people a taste of what's to come in the future if they care to go on and donate? I think it would be a very nice thing, especially with COVID and stuff, and with the bars and the clubs being locked down and stuff, and us not being able to leave the house. Now a lot of comedians, and well, since last March I suppose, have been sort of hitting online and trying to make people laugh and make light of the current situation that we're in. And I just thought I'd jump on board and just try and pass an hour of people's time, and why not? So what I did was I converted my cabin a few weeks ago into a studio, a podcast studio. I was going to, just like make 2 of my kids sleep on the landing, and then I thought, it's a bit inhumane. Why not let them keep their own room? You've got a cabin out there that's doing nothing other than gathering spiders' webs, and I thought I would just sort of bring myself out here and sit in the freezing cold for you guys and record some podcasts and see how we were getting on. And so far so good. We're going to have a great time. We're going to there's a wee sort of a wee wave there coming in from Kerry Fitzgerald, which is nice. Feel free to post your comments, and what we'll do is we will get them up as we go through the podcast. If you've just started listening to this podcast, if this is your first time, what a lot of people tend to do is they maybe check out the podcast, they watch 5 or 10 minutes, get a feel for what it looks like, and then they go onto their podcast app and they download the podcast, and then they listen to it in the car or on the train or in the ambulance if they're driving. Just if people are crying in the back, being like, "Please save my life," you can be like, "Fuck up, Sean's speaking here. Do you know he's about to do top 5 jokes of the week? Why would I listen to you crying when we can turn this up full and have a laugh in the front seat while the person is in agony in the back?" So we're going to tell some jokes. If you've never checked out the podcast before, you are very welcome. Auf Wiedersehen, bonjour. What's Irish? Hello, hello. Just hello. It's not that, is it? It's definitely not. It is. Gia Ditch is how are you? Isn't it? Louise Fahy, it definitely is a wee bit cold in there. Maybe you can see my nipples seeping through my 4 layers of clothes. But yeah, hello, Gia Ditch. My memory is so terrible. Anybody who has watched the first couple of episodes that I've did on this, they will just be like, "Sean, you really need to speak to somebody about this. Like, honestly, speak to maybe Paul McKenna, the old 90s, what do you call him? The guy who did all the hypnotism and stuff. He helped people stop smoking in the past. He's helped people do loads of different things, give up loads of different things. Maybe he could help me in my quest to have a better memory. Maybe he could, maybe he couldn't. Maybe I should speak to David Mead. David Mead's a good friend of ours, myself and Diona, and he would be good to speak to. I know he spoke to me in the past a few times and give me sort of a few techniques. So I definitely need to reach out to David Mead, I think, in the near future and see if he can help me out on that. But yeah, I brought my podcast out to the cabin, and I've spent the past couple of weeks just clearing away all the cobwebs and making it from like a sort of outhouse. A lot of people call them man caves. I don't like to call it a man cave. I think a man cave is it's a horrible term. It's a term that I do not like being used. A man cave is just a guy just fiddling with himself in a barn, isn't it? That's basically what it is. And there's a pool table in there somewhere. That's what a man cave is. 100%. So I came out here last week. I took a few things away, added a few things. As you can see behind me, I've got a little trophy up here. If you can see that, if you're listening to the podcast, you 100% can't see it. Please keep your eyes on the road. Don't try and close your eyes and imagine a little trophy. It's just a tiny pound shop trophy. And where I got this, myself and my brothers, and my whole family, my dad, my sons and stuff as well. We take part every Christmas in an arm wrestling championship, and I won it, I think, 2 years in a row. Then my brother won it, not Christmas 2020 just gone, but the Christmas before that, because he started doing pull-ups and stuff like 2 or 3 months in advance, just to try and beat us. And he won. He beat me in the final. And this year, I did not let COVID stop me from winning him, from beating him. I'm not in P4. It didn't stop me from beating him. What I did was I went down to his house on Christmas night, and we agreed not to visit family this year. Everyone was just staying at home. Everyone was going to protect each other, stay safe. I was like, do you know what? This trophy has to come home. I've had nightmares, I've had dreams the whole of last year of this trophy, just crying, going, "Daddy, please bring me home." And I was like, "Son, I will. I know you're out there. I know you're waiting on me." And I went out, and what I did was I sanitized my hands. I put on gloves. I put on a face mask. My brother, he came out of his house completely unannounced. I threw him a pair of gloves. He had a face mask already on him. He pulled it out, put it on. We reached over the bonnet of the car, one side each, played each other. Because let's face it, it's the final. We're the 2 strongest members of the family, me and my big brother. And we played each other, and I beat him. And he started, the bonnet though, was your arm actually in the middle, or was it off to the side a bit? All this blah, blah, blah. I was like, do you know what? I won. See you next Christmas, sunshine. And off I went, beeping the horn up his lane with the trophy in hand. It was absolutely lovely. It was great. So welcome to the Comedy Cabin. This is it's bitterly cold out here. It's really, really cold. What I have, excuse me, what I have under my legs here is a radiator that I've like clung to myself, and just in case you think I'm like trying to scratch my gooch, I'm just popping it back on because it is so cold. So what we'll do, we'll start the podcast as we mean to go on, and we will start with a joke, and we will tell you the last joke that I have written, and this segment is quite new. I haven't done it before. I've done it once before. I haven't got a sort of segmenty kind of visual piece for you. This is called Tell Us a Joke, but here it is.
Tell us a joke, the last joke that he wrote. Tell us a joke, the last joke that he wrote. Tell us a joke, the last joke that he wrote. Tell us a joke. No, just wait up again. Tell us a joke.
So Tell Us a Joke is a new thing that I have come up with recently, and basically what I do is I go into my phone and I tell you that the last joke that I've written, this joke is usually untested on a comedy club, on a comedy audience. Usually I don't post a lot of material or jokes online, but the last joke that I wrote, I actually wrote this morning about 10:30, right? And I really hope you like it. This is very COVID fit, and here we go. I've started watching this new COVID TV show about a cartoon family. One has a cough, one has a high temperature, one has to self-isolate for 10 days, and one of them has lost their sense of taste. They're called The Symptoms. Thank you.
Tell us a joke, the last joke that he wrote. Tell us a joke, the last joke that he wrote. Tell us a joke, the last joke that he wrote. Tell us a joke. No, just wait up again. Tell us a joke.
And keeping with the theme of playing segments, we're going to play for you is what's been going on this week. I'm going to tell you a few things that I've been up to this week, and then we're going to keep the jokes rolling on. Here we go.
I'm going to say what I've been doing. I'm going to tell you right now I'm going to say what's going on this week. Sit back, relax, and you'll see.
Sit back, relax, and you'll see. This is the part of the show where I tell people what I've been up to this week. And just before I was going to come out here and record this podcast for you lovely people, my wife had a midwife appointment, something, whatever it is, to sort of figure out more stuff about our baby and figure out like the weight and stuff. And she came back and she thought I was recording, so she didn't bother me, but I went in to go for a wee number one before I started recording this, and she says to me, "You'll never guess how the weight of our baby." If you don't know, myself and Dion are expecting a baby in March, right towards the end of March. So we have about 8 or 9 weeks still to go, and the baby is currently, drum roll please, 4.7 £. How unbelievable is that? I have a 4.7 baby, 4.7 ounce baby in the oven as of now, and apparently the baby like doubles in weight for the past in the last month. So that should be good fun. We'll no doubt be delivering a fucking panda, a baby panda, by the time middle of or end of March comes along. So we're looking forward to that. We have a name as well picked out as well. She's going to be Winter Hegarty, which is lovely, and a lot of people are going to think, oh, he's a fan of Game of Thrones. I've never seen an episode of Game of Thrones in my entire life. I'm going to put that out there from the very start. But I just think, well, Diona picked the name. She thinks it is a beautiful name, and it's grown on me. I'm not going to lie. You know, it really has grown on me. Which, like Wart, that grows on somebody, doesn't it? Wart, you could call somebody Wart, which is a bit of a horrible name. Don't call your child Wart, whatever you do. But another thing I realised this week, right? This is mad. I'm going to try in some shape or form to work this into my stand-up sometime when obviously we get back to some kind of normality in 2057. But one thing I've realised recently is that you can't, in our accent, shout the name Martin. See, if you think about it, right? The way we say the name, like the first 3 letters, Mar, you can shout that easily. Mar's fine, right? But when it comes to, like, somebody in England could go, Martin, your couscous is ready, Martin. But over here, this is what we do. This is so weird, right? This is what we do. Martin! That's what you do. We can't say tin. We can't say tin when we're shouting. We have to go, so we go, Martin! So you can't shout that. So if you're Martin's 3 fields away and you're shouting him for his dinner, all anyone can hear is, Mar! Nobody can hear that, Martin! Guaranteed loads of Maz in the 90s have farted trying to shout out the tin in Martin. Gareth Clark's asking, what's the crack, Sean? The crack is something that drug dealers sell you to try and help you forget about COVID. Don't go down that dark alley. Gareth Clark, whatever you do, stay on the straight and narrow. There are better days ahead, and they are just around the corner. How about some more jokes? More jokes, please, Sean. Somebody just shouted out. No problem. Some more jokes. This is top 5 jokes of the week. Keep it here.
It's the top 5 jokes of the week. It's the top 5 jokes of the week. It's the jokes of the week, and I hope they're not key.
So what I like to do with this segment, what I do with this is every single day, right? You can find out online what kind of day it is. Like last week, it was National Kiss a Ginger Day. So what I do is I have like a big calendar that I've brought up, and it tells me for every single day of the year what national day it is for this day. So what I do is for my top 5 jokes of the week, rather than giving away all my material to you guys without having it tried and tested in front of an audience, I like to do is I come up with. Excuse me, I'm full of wind here. What I like to do is I come up with jokes based around what national day it is. So today, just knock this radiator off. Today is Monday the 18th of January, and today is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And my joke based around Dr. Martin Luther King is, I went to my doctor, Martin Luther King Jr., for a rash I had recently. You know what he said? I have a cream. I have a cream. Thanks very much. Tuesday the 19th, which is tomorrow, is National Peking Duck Day. I've organised a game of hide and seek in my local Chinese takeaway. Fingers crossed there'll be no Peking. Thank you very much. Tomorrow is also National Popcorn Day, right? National Popcorn Day tomorrow, and I used to work in a cinema, and not many people know this, unless they went to the cinema back then. They were like, fucker, Sean. But I used to work in a cinema, right? And genuinely one day this girl and her boyfriend came up to watch a film, and I served them tickets and stuff, and then brought them over to the shop. And the fella was all, what do you want? And the girl goes, can I have a large cock porn, please? A large cock porn. That's what she asked for. So that was a nice threesome. Coming up next, Wednesday the 20th is National Cheese Lovers Day. My girlfriend said she was going to leave me if I didn't stop working types of cheese into my sentences. But hey, that's fine by Brie. That's... Fine Brie. Fake laughter, because that joke's shite. Thursday 21st is Get to Know Your Customers Day. I used to work in a Braille library for blind people. One day a lady came in. I approached her. I says, hi, can I help you at all? She says, no thanks, I'm just looking. It's like, don't think so, mate. Get the fuck out, you're bored. And Friday the 22nd is the Celebration of Life Day. Every morning I wake up, I jump for joy. I have no choice. She's my personal trainer.
It's the top 5 jokes of the week. It's the top 5 jokes of the week. It's the jokes of the week, and I hope they're not key.
Do you know what? I'm not going to lie to you, right? This has never been done before, but I actually have a bonus joke for this week's top 5 jokes of the week. And my top 5 jokes of the week are done, but the middle one was, what was it, on Wednesday, is it? On Wednesday the 20th is National Cheese Lovers Day, and I actually have a bonus cheese joke for you, ladies and gentlemen. Here you go. This is my bonus cheese joke. I have a Protestant friend called Lee, and one day he told everyone in work that he's lactose intolerant. Later that day he said Londonderry, and his boss said, actually, it's Derry, Lee. And he had to go home because he had an anaphylactic shock. Thank you very much. There we go. Will you even understand that joke? Let me know in the comment section if you do actually get that joke. I know that's a bit of a tricky one, but he says, actually, it's Derry, Lee. And then the guy had to go home for an anaphylactic shock. So there we go. There's somebody who remembers Centrepoint. That is the name. Yeah, Helen Farmer. She remembers the name of the place that I used to work. That was Centrepoint. It was like a multi kind of entertainment complex, as you will. It had a bowling alley. It had a cinema, and it had like the Hollywood Bar, I think it's called, as well. Gary Cooper, he's watching. It's my cousin Gary Cooper. Any jokes about Steve Bruce? I know he's a joke. I did have a joke actually about Steve Bruce, but I think it was quite. It wasn't very nice about him. So let me just check here in my notes section of my phone. I'm pretty sure I did have a joke about Steve Bruce. Steve Bruce is the Newcastle manager. I know Gary Cooper's a very big fan of Newcastle. Let me just type this in here like a like someone who's over 40 who has to use their hand. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I suppose this is a joke. Here you go, Gary. This is for you. This is a joke about Steve Bruce. I was out with my mate one time and we walked past the manager of Newcastle. I said, "Steve Bruce, massive fan." He stopped us and he says, "Oh, thanks very much, lads." I says, "What are you talking about? My friend just asked me, how do you cool down the Newcastle manager's head?" Massive fan. There we go. What about that? There's a reason why I've never done that on stage, Gary, but there you go. 100 from Liam McAvoy as well. Liam McAvoy, myself and him did an ultramarathon together a few months ago. Great lad. And he also runs... Liam, tell you what to do. I can't remember the name of the food business that you run, but let me know and I'll plug it for you here. Yeah, so very good. What was I going to say there? I have a few news stories that I'm going to get through as well, but let me know as well if your name is Martin and you've been called from 3 fields away and your dinner ended up cold because all you ever heard was Mar. That'd be very nice if you could do that. But we do my views on the news. We do my views on the news. Gary Cooper there, very good. I'm happy with that, and a thumbs up. Lovely stuff. Appreciate it, Gary. That was specifically for you. And now it is time for... Oh, there we go. There. Liam's got back to me. Lean Supper Club. So go follow them on social media, guys. I'm sure you see them in most like Eurospars and Go Garages and things like that. That you, if you're local, if you're from NI, and make sure you check them out. Very healthy, nutritious meals. I think Liam would agree with me on that one. And his business is absolutely booming at the minute. So go check them out. Lean Supper Club on social media. Right, let's get on with the show. It is time for my views on the news.
My views on the news. My views on the news. Do you want my views? My views on the news. Do you want my views on the news? My views on the news. Do you want my views? Do you want my views? Do you want my views on the news?
A couple of news stories actually caught my eye this week, and this one's a bit of a weird one, right? Man gets Boris Johnson tattoo on his stomach. Why? Why would you want to do that? Man gets Boris Johnson tattoo on his stomach. I've seen some weird shit of people getting tattoos on themselves, but I didn't think anyone would actually go through with getting a Boris Johnson tattoo. Here's what he says, right? "I nearly wet myself." These are the words Kenny Wilding used to describe the pain of getting a giant tattoo of Boris Johnson's face inked on his stomach. The 42-year-old construction worker from Kidderminster got the unique ink to help fundraise for a young woman to receive... Oh, there we go. So that's why he got it done, to receive life-saving cancer treatment. Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense. Kenny's family friend, Megan Smith, 25, was diagnosed with advanced stage 4 rectal cancer in January 2019, and her family are hoping to raise $150,000 to fly her out to the US to take part in a new clinical trial. In a bid to raise some of the crucial funds, Kenny spent 2 hours in a tattoo parlour where an image of the Prime Minister grimacing was permanently drawn onto his midriff, with his chin resting just above Kenny's belly button. Unbelievable. Still, what a great cause. Like, I never refuse like an opportunity to donate to a really good cause, but surely there are things like, just fucking run a marathon, mate. Run a marathon. Do not get Boris Johnson's face tattooed on you, especially on your stomach as well. I think if you were ever going to get a Boris Johnson tattoo, you'd get it on your knob, wouldn't you? It's very fitting. Boris Johnson, what do you think? What body part? As soon as you think of Boris Johnson, do you think of, in terms of body parts? Knob, 100%. Unbelievable. Apparently he was going to ask for a tattoo of Matt Hancock, but the tattoo artist was afraid that the needles would get infected. He's a wee rat, isn't he? He is a dirty, dirty rat, Matt Hancock. He is... Did you see him on TV a few weeks ago as well? Was it on Good Morning Britain? And he was like fake crying. And it was the first time somebody got a tattoo a tattoo. Obviously, it wasn't the first time somebody got a tattoo. First time they got the vaccine, and he was like, not even a tear. Don't know what he was wiping away. He's a wee dick. Him. Here, that reminds me. That video on Good Morning Britain when he was pretending to laugh. That reminds me of. Do you ever see in the US office when Kelly Kapoor was called into the office by Michael Scott, and they're like, I think it was like Jim and Dwight wanted something to happen to her because she forgot their birth, or they forgot her birthday or something, so she made up all these lies about them, and then they left the office, and she was like, so what are we going to do here? And Michael Scott was like, just hang low for a wee minute here or pretend you're crying or something. So she pretended she was crying and they pissed out laughing. It's exactly like that, but in reverse, isn't it? I can't stand that wee dickhead. He has ruined so many lives. He is just all the things that I go against in life. He is just he's a dirty wee man. But I tell you what, we'll get into our main news story of the week, right? This is a brilliant one. Man gets drunk and changes his name to Celine Dion. Unbelievable. It was a drunken Christmas Eve when a former Nottingham club manager decided to legally change his name to Celine Dion. Previously Thomas Dodd, the 30-year-old did not realise he had contacted Deedpool only a few days later when documents with Celine Dion written on them arrived through his door, and an ordeal he recently shared on The Ellen Show. The former manager recalled watching a Celine Dion concert on Christmas Eve while enjoying a bottle of champagne, but has no recollection of actually changing his name. A look through his bank statements confirmed he had spent 89 quid to share the name of the Canadian singer, and he's in no immediate rush to change it back. The saga did not stop there, as talk show host Ellen DeGeneres also presented him with Ellen DeGeneres gave him £10,000. Fuck me. Pass here. Somebody send me a link to Deedpool. I am changing my name to Theresa May right now. £10,000 he received from the Ellen DeGeneres show to help him train to become a paramedic, something Thomas has aimed to do since the pandemic started. The Tamworth resident, who's currently furloughed from his job as a hospitality manager and volunteering at a COVID test centre, said, For Christmas Eve, I'd normally go out with my friends, but obviously couldn't this year, so I was sat at home enjoying some champagne. Next thing I knew, I'd gone through the bottle, and the last concert I watched that night was Celine Dion. Fuck me. What was the first concert he watched? Philomena Begley? I'm quite obsessed with her, and that's the last thing I remember that night. A few days later, I got the certificate in the post confirming my new name. I paid for 8 extra certificates to prove it, and they are £10 each. That is unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get 30 seconds on the clock and see how many jokes we can make about this guy who has changed his name to Celine Dion. Are we ready? Here we go. Well, I suppose things could be worse. He could have kept his real name, Thomas Dodd. What a shite name. He probably had flashbacks a few days later and sang, it's all coming back to me now. I bet when he told his family the news that it went down quicker than the Titanic, the money in his bank account was probably saying, I'll never let go, Jack. If that's what a bottle of champagne does to him, whatever you do, don't give the young fella a bottle of Buckfast. And last but not least, I tell you what, I bet he'll think twice before doing that again. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Those are they're my views on the news.
My views on the news. My views on the news. Do you want my views? My views on the news. Do you want my views on the news? My views on the news. Do you want my views? Do you want my views? Do you want my views on the news?
So before we wrap things up, there's a few sort of wee bit of admin-y things that I want to go through with you guys. First of all, cheers for your ears. I really appreciate you tuning into this. This is the first time I've done this live on Facebook. It's on YouTube and stuff as well. So I really appreciate you tuning in. If you could do me a favour and share it with a few friends, if you could even spread the word and just tell them to download it, that'd be really cool. We're going to start bringing in some celebrity guests very soon. We're going to start doing some brand new segments. We're going to have a laugh. We're going to interact with you guys. And this was a bit of a tester today, just sort of a live episode to test the water. But what we're going to do in the future is I have a private Facebook group, and every single person that donates to this podcast, just for the upkeep of it, to try and fix my cabin up a little bit, to get a bigger, better studio, to pay for better audio equipment, video equipment, multi-cameras, things like that. What we're going to do is every single person that donates, either a one-off payment, a monthly payment, whatever you want to do, what we're going to do is we're going to put them all into a Facebook group, and I'm going to broadcast every episode or one episode a week straight into that. We're going to do Q&As. We're going to do loads of extra stuff with everybody who donates. And if you'd like to donate, it's very simple. You can donate anything from £3 right up to 600 million quid. All you have to do is go to ko-fi.com/hegpod. It's on the screen in front of you. If you want to click on that, send me £3, the price of a coffee, which is probably 15 quid in Starbucks. You can send me as much or as little as you want, and it really does go a long way. And if you have watched this, if you enjoy it, if you want to watch or download past versions or past episodes, just go to Sean Hegarty Podcasts on your podcast app and make sure you subscribe and stuff as well. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'm going to have a new episode for you on Thursday, live again from the Comedy Cabin. I am Sean Hegarty. Enjoy whatever you get up to. I will see you all very, very, very soon. Scott Nelson says, shout out for Scott and Greg's doing the TM. I don't know what the TM is, the trademark, the Turtle Mania. I don't know what they're doing. But enjoy your day, lads, and keep our country by. I'll see you all very soon on Sean Hegarty Podcasts on the Comedy Cabin. Look after yourselves. Look after each other. Tell your mum I said hello, and I'll see you all very soon indeed. Take care. Peace.